In order to develop right concentration, the point of it is to begin to dismantle the heavy reactionism, the construct of our own perception, and to create a mind that is firm and strong and not out of control. Because our minds get out of control when we habitually are very emotional. There's just no control. And so we learn to do that. And one of the wonderful techniques that's given is to concentrate. It's called single-pointed concentration, or one-pointed concentration. And one of the first techniques that you learn in Buddhism, for instance, is to take, say, an image of the Buddha, and to concentrate on that, and let everything else go. Let your perception go completely. And you sit there really in meditation, and you just watch the image, and you're filled with the image, and you take note of the image, and you look at the finest parts of the image. And when the I left the toaster on, or I left the iron on thoughts start to come in, then you simply use a technique of just dismissing them and going back to the concentration. And for some people that really have trouble dismissing them, you can even use a visualization of cutting them, like with a scissors, and throwing them away, and get back. But you always return to your single-pointed concentration. It's extremely relaxing, extremely healing. I don't know why it isn't done more. Another thing that you can do is to focus on a candle, to simply see the nature of that flame, see what it is, to perceive only that, to let the mind, here's the term, let the mind rest on it. Rest on that image. Let the mind rest on the image of the Buddha, rest on the image of a flower or the image of a candle. Just let it rest. When something comes to interrupt you, you simply toss it away, cut it out, move it. Come back to rest. Come back to that. You can also watch your breath. And one way to do that is to just take very uniform, relaxing breaths, like say 4 beats in, hold 1, 4 beats out, like that. Just a real relaxed kind of breathing, and just let your mind rest on the rhythm and the feel of your own breath. And it's restful. For a person whose mind is too active and too angry, it's very restful, very peaceful to do that. Just lovely. It's completely different from watching TV, which actually gets your mind a little stirred up. I know when I watch the news, I get stirred up. I'll tell you that. I start talking back to the TV. Hey! So yeah, I get real stirred up. Then I go look at my candle. But it's that single-pointed concentration, and it's right concentration. It means wholesome. It's wholesome concentration. Your mind is not filled with scattered BS. It's not fighting battles that you had yesterday, which we do. We review all the stuff that happened to us. We ruminate on it. We fight battles we had last week. 2 weeks later, we thought it was the smart comeback. In the middle of our meditation, that is. So you fight that by using single-pointed concentration. And even if you do that, just laugh at yourself and come back. Always drop it, come back. Drop it, come back. So pretty soon you'll be able to do it for longer and longer and longer. And so the thought is that once you learn to apply single-pointed concentration or meditation on a candle or an image, that the mind then has more control. You have more muscle. And really, the mind is almost like a muscle, really. You have to build it. It's flabby. So you have to, in the same way that you work out to keep your body strong, or walk to keep your, your muscles in good shape, whatever you do, it's the same with your mind. Your mind has to be kept. It isn't just there, and you just deal with it however it is, because in that case, your mind tends to act like a monkey. It's all over you. It controls you it rides you rather than you riding it. It's like the master's not riding the donkey's riding the master. And that's what happens when the mind is just too agitated and too wild and too out of control. So single-pointed concentration, that kind of meditation is beautiful. Lord Buddha said even whatever practice he learned, whatever he learned in his whole life, and he went from asceticism, and self-punishment and that kind of thing, the whole gamut that was possible at that time, all the way to, as a young prince, he was a noble being, but still he was a prince. He had great food, and he had a beautiful wife, and his whole life ran the gamut of the very best, most sensual life, almost hedonistic, to asceticism. And he said from his whole life what he really loved, his favorite practice was just the gentle watching of his breath. And so I just leave you with that, thinking that you might want to try it yourself. It's a beautiful practice, a healing practice. If you're sick, for instance, or depressed, or manic, or, you may not be able to do it without some sort of treatment or medication, but it behooves us to try. To calm the mind, to center the mind, to develop single-pointed concentration.